Hi, I'm Joe, and this is the Bad News Show. We got snow coming to British Columbia, fair bit of it. I would call this the first significant snow event of the season. September ends with a little bit of snow in the north. October begins with a little bit of snow. Yeah, maybe even some coming down to the Coca-Cola Highway, things like that. So let's have a look at the snow forecast. This is the Bad News Show. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything can happen. Get on! Wow.
I'll watch the video later.
They drum up in this. This forecast is brought to you by Footage Fridays, which is part of Butterfly Effect Communications. They have video and audio equipment, and they want to get more practice by capturing video, photos, and audio for you. So every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, they release their limited deals for the week, exclusively for subscribers of their newsletter, LinkedIn, and YouTube channels. You receive what they capture. So subscribe now for access and watch for limited time specials, including the Caribou. There is quite a lot I'd like to say. I mean, my weather station got blown away and trashed the other day, and then Dickie's Diner bought me a new one, and all this outpouring of love and support from the community for what I'm doing has come around, and at the same time, I've hit 4,000 subscribers on the channel. So thanks to all you new Patreons, thanks to all you new channel members, thanks to everybody who's coming in and helping get these views higher, leaving comments, hitting thumbs up and likes, because that's what's helping push the algorithms, and that's helping grow this channel, and that's making it realistic for me to want to do this thing I'm doing here on the channel and at Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. So looking at the next month forecast probabilities for temperature, looks like we have sort of an anomaly going on for sure in northeastern Canada, where we're going to see temperatures well above what we would expect to see seasonally there for them. However, when we look at this graph, Ontario is benefiting from some of that. Quebec a lot. The Maritimes looking like they're going to see warmer than what you would normally expect their seasonal values to be, whereas BC, not so lucky. In northern British Columbia and Alberta, we got frost advisory in effect there. So but there's already been frost here in Wells every night. I mean, we don't often qualify because we're 3,935 feet above sea level here, and we are this place where we're bound to get frost before anybody else does. And for the 300 of us here, they don't issue a frost advisory necessarily for the whole Caribou. But I think people in high parts of the Caribou have been seeing it, and other regions around the north as well as you go further north. So fog advisory there along Lake Superior. That's the only two things going on in Canada right now. She's been pretty quiet to start the weekend after a pretty wild week. High pressure is more or less settled into northern British Columbia for the time being. They're getting the frost advisories up there. Well, the high pressure spinning clockwise. It's anticyclonic. It's bringing colder air down into the interior. And more or less for the last number of weeks now, we've had kind of the same pattern out in the Pacific Ocean where storm after storm after storm is punching 1, 2, 3, 4 in. And it's been going on for a little while, right? So here we are looking at the 500 millibar height animation, and you can see where Hurricane Helene is still now probably an extratropical low. We do have Joyce now forming out there as a tropical storm. And we have a 40% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours beyond that. So there it is, no longer a hurricane, but still a devastating storm. What it's done down there has been absolutely incredible. I mean, you don't have to follow this channel. This is a Western Canada, BC almost specifically forecasting channel, right? But, you know, we do look out there and say, wow, once in a while. And I mean, I encourage you to check it out. I've seen some incredible images from North Carolina where buildings are Wendy's was completely underwater. Like, you wouldn't even be safe on the roof in some of these places that got flooded out when dams broke, incredible amounts of rain came. That was quite the storm. It really was. So as you see here in Canada, jet stream is more or less right now arched up over. The storm is helping push it upwards a little bit, right? Bringing some of that nicer, warmer weather. I shouldn't say nicer, but warmer weather to Ontario still at the moment. All across Canada, precipitation is a bit of a story, but it's only for BC, and you can see the next storm coming in. You're going to see that same pattern in BC more or less play out that we've had last week. A large storm forming up there in the Gulf of Alaska, mid-latitude cyclone. It'll send some precipitation down into BC. You more or less know the story. Repeat, and we'll get to the specifics here in a minute. So there we have dying storm Helene, still putting a fair bit of rain into Appalachia there. Here's our next storm coming out there on the Pacific Northwest, 984, 979, deepening, By Monday, deepening. Here comes a blast of bad weather on Tuesday. Looks like some more snow inland up into central BC. This is after a little bit of snow that we're still going to see on Sunday as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. Storm deepening, sitting there, lashing the coast for a little while before it finally starts to squeeze itself out. Pulling itself together, mid-latitude cyclone. You can see bringing snow up into areas like Churchill, Manitoba, and up the coast there of Nunavut, while bringing in very warm moisture by comparison, drawing it up through Ontario, through Quebec, and up into the storm. So that's what's feeding it to that clash. So we got record-setting heat going on down there in Arizona right now still, and into California. So that's a big weather story for them that's happening as well. And you can see cold in BC. Cold temperature Sunday. We'll have specifics on that in a minute here. But very, very cold. Some of that warm weather going to be making its way up into the prairies, it looks like, on Sunday, Monday. Congratulations. BC really getting cold, and now you can really see, look at this. Look at how the storm is feeding in. This is our next storm out in the coast coming in, and you can see it's drawing warm subtropical moisture up into its core. And from the north, it's drawing in cool, cold air. Chilly nights this week in northern BC, Yukon, Northwest Territories, getting down cold. Snow coming down and some of this precipitation this week in that. So maybe a little chilly this week, chillier than we were hoping for. But now, let's talk about the friggin' specifics. North Pacific specifics, yes. So you look at where new snowfall distribution is going to be between now and Wednesday night. Say, making this on Saturday evening, but this is your Sunday morning forecast, more or less. As I have children, I'll be too busy doing dad things, I think, Sunday morning. But you look at where snowfall distribution is going to be, and BC is basically one of the most southern places on the world, in the whole planet, that's getting significant snow. You know, if you're down south, you might not have to worry about this too much unless you're planning to go over some of these mountain passes and some of these nights coming up. And we'll play through the model in a few minutes and look at exactly when we think this is all coming. You know, you may see some slushy, crappy driving conditions through some of these passes, especially at nighttime, you know, really if you're driving through the middle of the night. So that's something to be watching for. And then especially if you're coming through Rogers Pass and you're heading out towards Alberta, on the Highway 1, yeah, it looks like you're probably going to be seeing some snow at times up there in the high country in Alberta, 53 centimeters, but that's up in the ice fields kind of area. That's high country. It's going to be seen a lot. So, you know, don't be too alarmed by what I'm saying here. But out in the Cariboo Plateau, you know, a couple centimeters there. Here in Wells, maybe 5 or 10 centimeters, I'm sure. Some of the Cariboo Mountains, looking at bigger dumps, 50 cents in places like that. Go up to on the coast. And now you're talking about some larger dumps as you go further north. But even that stretch into Heckman Pass, I think if you're going to be driving into Bella Coola at times this week, you're going to be coming into some of that nasty weather. So you're going to want to plan your travel around. Some of these nights you don't want to be coming back into Bella Coola at night for sure. I mean, if you ever want to at all, it's not probably what most people think of as fun, going down Heckman Pass at night. Seeing a dusting and terrace. But up in the mountains around you, big snow, right? So if you work in the mountains, recreate in the mountains, and do things in the mountains, you may have reason to prepare around the fact that there's going to be a lot more snow up there than maybe you would like. And that's going to also go for, you know, dustings through the Highway 16 corridor. Yeah, sure. Go a little further north and into the Amanika areas like that, you're probably going to start seeing a little bit higher totals. Go up to Spatsizi Plateau, you know, and you're going to see maybe 20, 30 centimeters in some of these locations. So some snow coming over. Another area, I think you're probably going to see snow in if you're traveling through for sure. You're going to be probably seeing it in the pass, 97 North. They don't call that place Powder King for nothing. Snowfall in the Jasper area. Yeah, certainly. If you're driving on 16, coming through McBride, going to be a chance of snow this next bunch of days. So we'll talk about exactly when, but that's some of the larger dumps there. So speaking of Jasper, hey, Marianne and David, guess what? Your movie posters did arrive, and they're totally awesome. So thanks for thinking of us and sending that, including Rogue One. And they're from the movie theater posters. So little Jasper keepsakes now in my house. Some movie posters that have survived the fire in Jasper and have come to me from from good friends who I care about. Thanks for your support, Marianne and David. Care about you guys a lot. So granted, snow in a lot of these places, sure, but of course that's also going to come with rain at times too. So it doesn't necessarily mean that some of the snow is going to stick your season snow. No, it's early season snow, and it's going to be mixed with rain and a mess of precipitation. And even Sunday night as I make this, there's a little bit of a risk that here in Wells, even we could see some coming through the coast mountains a little bit. Again, Bella Coola looking like a target. Jasper seeing some again up in that neck of the woods. Mostly rain and Revelstoke, a bit of a mix there, but this pulse of this weather is going to be moving down into southern BC. It's going to maybe be bringing some rain to Kamloops on Sunday and Revelstoke and areas like that, right? So the dry country, you know how it is down in the deep valleys. Some of those places you skip over. You don't get the precipitation you wish you did. Thunderstorms on the backside of this low going through southern Saskatchewan, heavy rain in the north, snow on early Monday morning, and here comes our next storm out off the coast, or the Tuesday storm, trailing along, thunderstorms in behind it. Large wind fields. It's going to look really impressive when you see the wind. I mean, we could do this for a second and just go, okay, yeah, we're definitely seeing some strong winds up there, and some of that's going to translate into northern BC as this tail comes through, right? So this is the next big mid-lat cyclone we're watching for. Monday afternoon, some of that precipitation will start already in the coast mountains, make its way into northern BC. Surf Inlet, Haida Gwaii take another big shot. Some of these same areas that basically got hammered the last week, freezing rain even potentially up in north in the Williston area. So that's overnight on Tuesday, and larger snow dumps happening in northern BC, like steady, consistent snow coming into Tuesday morning. So that's going to be delivering a lot of rain along the coast, big time numbers to the coast, and we're going to see a result of that pulsing into southern BC Tuesday afternoon, a good pulse. The timing of this may mean for some of these places that when the rain comes through, you're just in those high country places like the Coquihalla Pass that you may not, or the Paulson Summit and things like that, you may not get the snowfall simply because of the time of day. There may be a few lightning strikes here and there in this mess, because you can see every kind of thing is on the icon, but a repeat of what we've been seeing, except for northern BC this time, really getting inundated with some significant snow, and up and down the Rocky Mountains, up and down the coast mountains. So the high country really taking it in the chin for us, the coast really taking it hard again. So that's kind of how the week starts, right? We can kind of look out a little bit past that, but the things more or less resolve themselves, and we get a break later in the week before, more or less she starts up all over again, maybe with a less significant low next time through. But, the pattern, look at this one, 954. The pattern just keeps coming, right? So, and that seems like it's pretty low. If that does hold true and get down to 960s again, the hurricane force low, maybe not hitting directly to Haida Gwaii like it did last time, but some of these winds fields are going to be striking it pretty dead on. And these are wind gusts. That's not steady winds, but you could probably expect that at a moment of time, winds could approach some of those. So that starts to spill inland Tuesday afternoon, right? So look for Tuesday being pretty windy. Even Monday we saw there was pretty windy. This is really the big story of the week. This low is going to be coming through. It's going to take its time. It's going to throw rounds of wind, rounds of rain, rounds of snow. This is the pattern that's been established. Wednesday again may see some strong winds in the Caribou. So that's another day we're going to be watching for. This won't be the last time we talk about this stuff, but we could see wind gusts in that Prince George area, in through the Lakes country, into the Caribou. There may be a number of different kinds of weather warnings that are going to show up for you this week. Snowfall, special weather statements, through the passes, wind warnings, and such. So yeah, we're back into it. That's my late night forecast for everybody. So thank you to all the new Patreons. It's people like you that are keeping me going. People like, we'll just pick one here for tonight. Ty Lynn Crawl, new member of the week, member of the day, new Patreon member of the day. There's a lot of you I have to mention, and I'll do my best in the coming days and weeks to call more and more of you out and say, hey, thank you. Okay, everybody, that's the show for this week. Hit like, share, subscribe. Not this week. God, it's late at night. I'm just stumbling over my tongue now. Time to shut her down. Hit like, share, subscribe. Bye now.